Welcome everyone, I'm Kingly Valence, and thanks for watching this fun Spore challenge. Today, we are going to become Mr. Krabs and try to beat Spore without spending any of me money. There are 3 major currencies in Spore, including DNA points in Cell Stage and Creature Stage, food during Tribal Stage, and then we move to using Sporebucks for Civilization Stage and Space Stage. Our goal today is to see if it's possible to beat Spore and reach the galactic core at the center of the galaxy without spending any of these currencies. We'll be relying on what we can get from Spore for free to be the biggest cheapskates in the galaxy. Starting Spore, we can get either the carnivore or herbivore cell with 1 mouth, 1 set of eyes, and 1 flagella all for free. There are technically a couple of herbivore cells that start with 2 sets of eyes, but more eyes won't help much for this challenge, since even if we sell the extra set of eyes, we still can't buy anything anyway. For this run, our goal is to never allow our money to ever go down. So we can pick pretty much any cell, but I like the cells without eye stalks since they can get in the way. We're going to choose an herbivore cell, as this will help us get better abilities later in Creature Stage and Tribal Stage. And from here, this is basically just a no evolution challenge for Cell Stage, and we've done far more difficult challenges for Cell Stage as the pitiful worm, and with no eyes and no flagellas. So it's no surprise that Cell Stage passes without spending any money with flying colors. And we've gotten a lot better at these challenges over the years, beating Cell Stage first try without any deaths. We're off to a really good start. Still unlocking the speedrunning achievement without any extra parts, beating Cell Stage for free. But we can't add any parts here, so we're off to Creature Stage. It's so nice doing a challenge with eyes for once. I can finally see during Creature Stage. But being an unevolved worm still has its challenges. We are completely stuck in the nest. This happens sometimes at the start of Creature Stage, but usually just going in and out of the editor, we can reset our creature and we can escape. Except the mate is still too far away. You just need to come a little closer. That's funny, I don't think I've seen our own creature get the question mark over their head before. I see that all the time during Tribal Stage, but that's funny seeing it on ourselves. But that's fine, we don't need a mate. Saving and quitting to reset Creature Stage will also work. There we go, now we can continue freeloading Creature Stage. We're going to start out allying these first 2 nests, since these creatures only have level 1 Sing, which our creature can also match. But for this Creature Stage, we're going to be mostly aggressive to lower our history timeline into the adaptable range going into Tribal Stage. But eventually, we will run into more powerful creatures, which is where our Siren Song ability will come in handy. We found some of these Slinkodum creatures, which are much more powerful and aggressive fighters, by using the Siren Song, and we can still ally them and recruit them into our pack. Upgrading to the next level, and now we have 2 slots for pack mates, and we can bring 2 Slinkodums into the pack to help us fight. And there we go, we're a much bigger force to be reckoned with. And we can extinct this nest. But hold up, there's a rogue. If we can ally the rogue, we'd be even more unstoppable. With ourselves and supposedly our fighter packmates, we can still ally this rogue. But hold on again, what about a second rogue? Another rogue just walked on over. Let's go for the double rogue ally. Nice, this Creature Stage has just been feeding me DNA points, but we've hardly done any fighting. We're so heavily investing in all this socializing, and we're already halfway past Creature Stage. I haven't even needed to make it to our first migration point yet. Now we have one of these rogues under our command. Our Siren Song needs to recharge, so we can pummel some of these other creatures to reach the next level as well. The rogue doesn't even need our help. They'll take down this whole nest on their own, and most importantly, for free. This levels us up already to the final section of Creature Stage, and this allows us 1 more slot in the pack for the second rogue as well. And we'll keep one of the Slinkodums for fun as well, to unlock the Village Folk achievement, all for free. We still haven't spent any DNA, or even entered an editor yet after starting Creature Stage. From here, we fought our way to the end of Creature Stage with ease. I feel like there's some sort of parallel here I can't quite make out. Something about being the chief executive of this little group, and I have all these people who work for me like some kind of employees, but I don't even pay them, and I get to keep all the DNA points for myself. Now that must just be a Spore thing. And finally, we reached the next migration point, giving us another 25 DNA points for free. And that already finishes Creature Stage without any deaths first try. But because of all the socializing, we still aren't in the adaptable range yet, so we can't move into Tribal Stage. But thankfully we can continue to fight more nests, and this will still affect the timeline even after finishing the progress bar. There's another extinction, and we need to make our way to the nest on the coastline. Normally, this is where we'd start Tribal Stage. However, this is where we need to deviate from a regular no evolution run. In order to beat Civilization Stage without spending any money, we need to start from a different continent than our starting home continent. Using free cam for a second during Creature Stage, and going across the ocean, there are actually more nests available on the other continents. All the nests on the planet correspond to possible city spawn locations during civilization stage, and they're all available during creature stage. In using FreeCam, this would make it really easy to select this nest to become our new home nest as well. However, we need to reach this nest without using cheats. But there's a sea monster whose entire job it is to prevent us from reaching here. However, we can use the Control-Alt-Delete trick to bypass the cutscene where the sea monster tries to eat us. During the cutscene, press Control-Alt-Delete to bring up the blue Windows menu with the Task Manager, then spam Escape on the keyboard. We are overlapping 2 escape inputs to skip and bypass the cutscene. This cutscene bypass works for other cutscenes as well, but this is most useful for bypassing the sea monster. However, this would be much easier if we had a creature that can actually run and fly over the ocean to reach the other nest on the other continent quickly. But today, we are only a worm, so we are going to have to bypass the sea monster cutscene multiple times without messing up. If we mess up, we get eaten and get sent back to the nest. So it looks like if we start on this island, and we head just to the left of the trees, that will line us up perfectly to slowly swim over to the new nest. I also quit without saving to reload the game, so that FreeCam never happened. And now we can give it a go. And we're off, getting a good amount of distance, and the sea monster hasn't noticed us yet. Oh, there we go. Alright, Control-Delete, spam Escape, and we lived. But the sea monster isn't done yet. As long as we are off the shoreline, the sea monster will keep trying to eat us. There we go again, and we only get a couple of inches at a time before needing to do another bypass. And I found while doing this that saving is safe to do. If we mess up, we can return to a save, and that will give us a couple of seconds before the sea monster gets us again. And there are the trees, we're making it. Land ho! And we made it onto the land. But being on the land isn't safe from the sea monster. The sea monster just sees that we're off our home continent and will still try to eat us. But we escaped once again, and once we select the new home nest, that makes this continent safe. It's also important to know that we can't migrate to these other continent nests if we have a migration mission active. Manual migration doesn't work during these, and there's no cutscene trigger volume for these nests as well. And calling for a mate at this nest before migrating doesn't work either, so just make sure the current migration mission is complete. And we made it to the end of creature stage, and on a different continent without spending any DNA in about an hour. And interestingly, Spore will continue just fine from this continent. Tribal, Civ, and Space will all work, even though Maxis never intended for us to reach this nest location. This feels like a little bit of DLC playing from these new locations. Starting up Tribal Stage, and that lets us officially check off Creature Stage for being passable without spending any money. But starting Tribal Stage, and this is where this challenge gets a bit more complicated. Tribal Stage's main currency is now food points, which is used to buy additional babies and tribal tools. Babies cost 10 food each, and tribal tools cost 25 food each. There's also the Tribal Outfitter that has its own kind of currency to put on tribal gear. But for this challenge, I'm also saying we cannot spend this currency either. So no tribal gear for us. So we are stuck with no tribal gear, no tribal tools, and we can't get any new members from babies. However, the reason for becoming adaptable during Creature Stage is so now we can get the Beastmaster ability. This allows our tribal chieftain to recruit nearby creatures to help us attack or perform. But since we still can't buy any instruments to perform with, we are forced to destroy the other tribes. And that's the only way to make progress in Tribal Stage for free. Scouting around for decent fighting creatures, and these creatures look like they'd really help us take down Brown Tribe. However, I really overestimated how much these extra creatures would really do. And I really overestimated how much our own tribe members would do without weapon tools. I'd figured on easy difficulty we'd wipe the floor with these tribes, even with basically nothing. However, this took multiple tries to do. We can't afford to allow one of our regular tribe members to be killed, since we can't get any more. And this was a lot more difficult than I expected, and this is only the 6-member tribe, with only 3 rival tribe members present. Pretty much only our chieftain can do damage with their staff, that they got for free. Our bite level 1 tribe members are basically useless, and our Beastmaster creatures love getting stuck and don't even do that much damage either. Eventually though, we did finally get through all 3 of Brown's tribe members, with all of our tribe members still alive. And just in time too, the Beastmaster has worn off. Now we're on our own to destroy the main hut. But after 2 solid minutes of just attacking the main hut, their chieftain returned. We're so close, only 50 health left. Oh no, they're chasing our chieftain. No, down to 5 health, escape! Oh good, they're running away and attacking another member with more health. We need our chieftain attacking the hut. They're really the only one doing any damage. Oh no, this one's getting weak. Go, go, go! Oh no, please not the chieftain. We're so close! Oh, thanks for attacking the 3rd member. So close. 2 health. Yes, we got it. We destroyed Brown Tribe without spending any money. However, this does not bode well for this challenge. We could barely take on 3 tribe members. How are we supposed to take on 12? And I tried a couple of strategies, including allowing the Epic to take out some members for us, then attacking with a new squad of Beastmaster creatures, but no, they were still too strong. There were still too many members defending the tribe. Alright, what if we allow them to attack us? That will separate them out a bit. But even with only 3 members attacking our main hut, and with more Beastmaster creatures, and our rogues defending, we couldn't stop them without losing a tribe member, since these guys have weapon tools. Okay, third idea, if we allow them to attack our tribe, that will leave their tribe open for a counterattack. However, ironically, on easy difficulty, they don't send very many tribe members to actually attack our tribe, leaving them with a lot of members left to defend the tribe. On hard difficulty, they'll actually send a lot more members at a time, and usually only leaving 1 or 2 members to defend with. So if they sent the hard number of attackers, but still on easy difficulty, this could have worked, so we only needed to get through a couple of defenders. But even on easy, we couldn't get through everyone back at their tribe. And I tried this separately on hard difficulty as well, but we couldn't even get through the 2 members that they left to defend with either. With only level 1 bite, no tribal tools, and no tribal gear, and no extra babies, it looks like we won't be able to beat tribal stage for free this way. Technically, since we did defeat the first 6-member tribe, this means we can beat tribal stage for free if we were to use planet sculpting tools from another saved game, so only 1 other tribe would spawn. Doing this, we would only need to defeat 1 6-member tribe, and since there isn't enough room for the rest of the tribes to appear, they're all skipped, and all of tribal stage is completed. But for our main run, I wanted to see if we can beat Spore with a regular planet without the planet sculpting tools, allowing all 5 tribes to spawn like normal. But I did want to mention this method out of completion, since this would have technically worked. However, instead of just giving up, let's see what the least amount of money we need is to beat tribal stage normally. And that means we can finally buy some babies. We only need to purchase 1 baby for 10 food, and using the graphics effect trick, we can get the rest of the babies for free. Now we have 9 total members for the low price of only 10 food points. So can these 9 members defeat the remaining tribes? Well, really the chieftain is the only one who can do any real damage. The bite level 1 members are all still pretty useless. Even with like 20 of them, this would still be hard. And after a few tries with our 9 members, plus Beastmaster, and the best I could do after finally whittling down Cyan's tribe members, we still lost 2 of our own members, and the rest of them are all pretty weak. And after attacking the main hut for a while, Cyan's reinforcements did arrive, and took out even more members. So I couldn't get a no-death victory, but this does show it is probably possible to defeat tribal stage with only level 1 bite, if we can make as many babies as we wanted. This would be a pretty cool challenge on its own, but at least for this least money run, we can't buy more babies for each attack. That would cost us 40 food, which is still pretty low, but not as low as possible. We can beat this 40 food estimate by socializing with the other tribes. We saw in the shortest timeline video that with just our starting tribe members and 1 instrument, we can ally the other tribes. That would cost us only 25 food for the 1 instrument. However, we can't ally with angry tribes, and gifting a tribe would cost us 10 food for each gift. Unfortunately, Beastmaster doesn't help us here anymore. We need the firework ability to essentially gift the other tribes for free. The fireworks would instantly bring a tribe's relationship up to friendly without needing a gift, saving us money. But this means we have to go back in time, back to creature stage. I keep save points periodically during these challenge runs in case something like this happens, and thankfully I kept a save right before trying to cross the ocean. Back in creature stage, we have to raise our timeline back into the social range to unlock the firework. I figured this would be easy with our rogues, but somehow we got 2 rogues with only level 1 sing. And the Slinkodum also only has level 1 sing. Our pack was definitely built for combat. Eventually we did manage to socialize with enough creatures to get back into the green social range, but this also means we have to cross the ocean again. I was so tempted at this point just to use free cam and get on with it, but nope, I did the Control-Alt-Delete trick all the way across again. We made it to the other continent, and back into tribal stage. And just like in the shortest timeline video, we were able to complete a normal tribal stage with no tribal outfitter money, no babies, just needing the firework and 1 instrument for 25 food spent. But using planet sculpting tools, tribal stage was passable for free, but I'll put that in this second column. Finishing up tribal stage, and we immediately enter the City Hall editor for civilization stage. These building editors have their own currency as well, that we can also try to minimize just for fun. Almost every part in this editor costs us 500 block budget points, Except the flag palette has some really expensive detail pieces. And the melee palette finder is the most expensive with 4,500 block points. Definitely don't want to buy that one today. But Spore tells us we need at least 3 parts in order to save our building. But every part costs money, and I don't want to spend anything. So, what if we use Cheat Engine to force Spore to allow us to save with no parts? Then we can have a city hall for free. Or I guess we wouldn't have a city hall at all, but at least we didn't spend any money. Changing the save creation address back to 0, so Spore thinks this is a valid creation, and save. And we're still at the starting 50,000 block points. And nothing? Hello? Spore? Uh-oh, did Spore crash? The window is still up. Task manager, what's happening? Oh yeah, Spore's not responding. Whoops. Okay, let's just close Spore then. Alright, so Spore can't save with no parts for our city hall. Good to know. But Spore wants a minimum of 3 parts, which would cost us 1,500 block points at a minimum. But can Spore work if we just save with 1 part? Using Cheat Engine to force Spore to save? And whoa, that was a really big lag spike. I thought it crashed again. But that actually works. We only actually need 1 building part to save, and we only spent 500 block budget points. But the least amount of money we could spend legally was 1,500. Next, we got the vehicle editor for civilization stage, and just like the building editor, we need a minimum of 3 parts to save. But also, just for fun again, can we save with no parts for our vehicle? Forcing Spore to save, and we got the loading screen. That's a good sign, Spore hasn't crashed yet. Loading into civilization stage, and we have no vehicle. Right-clicking the vehicle in the list does bring us to where it should be, and selecting it does give the religious voice. So Spore does think something's there, but unfortunately this doesn't work. It's completely stuck and we can't move it at all. I find this kind of experimenting really fun though. But back to the vehicle editor, and let's find the cheapest vehicle we can make legally. Almost every part costs 100 nut points. The little symbol looks like a nut, but it's always just called budget points for these editors. But it's also 100 points per bonus towards our vehicle. With 1 health bonus, a part will be 100 points, but if it has 2 health bonuses, or 1 health bonus and a speed bonus, it will be worth 200 points. Or for power, there can be up to 4 power bonuses costing 400 points. Except everything in the detail palettes that don't give any bonuses only cost 25 points each. And normally, we need to place at least 1 base piece or cockpit first before stacking other pieces on top of them. However, using a clever stacking trick, we can actually make our vehicle entirely out of only detail pieces. And with only 3 detail pieces for our vehicle, we don't get any bonuses, so everything stays at 0%, but we can make a vehicle for only 75 nut points, less than the cost of 1 base piece. Now we're moving into civilization stage properly, and in the last 2 stages for civilization stage and space stage, we are now using Sporebucks. We're going to try to not spend any money here, which means we can't buy any buildings, vehicles, super weapons, cities from trade routes, and we can't give any gifts as well. Nothing that would make our money go down. We have to rely entirely on what we can get for free. We do get 1 vehicle to start out with for free, but that's about it. However, we can get some vehicles for free by destroying some tribes. Sending our very slow vehicle over to one of these tribes, and we got a free vehicle from the tribe. Emphasis on free. And a military vehicle is perfect, and it's much faster than our religious vehicle, so we can send it over to the next tribe. These tribes can give any type of vehicle, or just money, and I think it's an equal 25% chance each. But we can save right before destroying the tribe in case we don't get what we need. Yep, we got another religious vehicle. Not what we need, so we can quit without saving and reload the game, and that will give us another chance at a better vehicle. We are looking for another military or economic vehicle from this tribe. After a few tries, we now have 1 economic and 2 military vehicles for free from the 3 tribes on this continent. And that's everything we need to complete civilization stage. Now we can claim a spice geyser for free to allow the rest of the cities to spawn. Since we migrated across the ocean during creature stage, we're starting civilization stage on a different continent than normal. We normally never start on this continent when selecting civilization stage from the main menu. We can only get here because of the manual migration. We need to start on this continent so we have land access to more cities than normal. Since we can't buy any boats or planes, we only have land access. The cities will still spawn in their normal order, and Spore, still expecting us to be on the east continent on the minimap, still spawns the first city way over here. There are normally 4 cities that spawn on our original home continent, including ourselves, but since we moved, there will only be 3 total cities on the east continent, leaving the west continent with 7 total cities including us. And now we wait for the next city to spawn, so we'll position our vehicles in the middle to head right over to the next city that spawns. We are going to trade and ally merge with the other nations to complete civilization stage for free. However, we can only ally merge if we control at least 4 cities ourselves. So if we were on the original home continent and managed to get all 4 cities, we would have no way of contacting the other nations to become allies without spending money. But here we have land access to 7 cities, so we can use our 2 military tanks that we got for free to capture 3 small cities, but also trade with the other large nations to build up a relationship with them, and hopefully wait for them to take over the rest of the planet in order for us to ally merge. Blue and red nations appear, and we can immediately start the trade routes with them, and they accept. And finally, start the trade route with Yellow Nation, and no? What do you mean no? Yellow just got here, and you don't accept? I always thought if you can get the trade route started fast enough, they don't need to be friendly with us to accept, just like with Blue Nation, who's also military. Oh well, so be it. You won't accept my trade route, then I'll take you out with my 2 military tanks. Thankfully, there is still 1 more coastal city on this continent for either blue or red to capture to take over the other continent for us. We don't want to capture all of the coastal cities, or we'll trap ourselves on this continent. And we've captured, and there's our one-piece city hall. Thankfully, that won't cause any more crashes. But now we need to capture the next 2 small cities that spawn, so we can get our 4 total cities to allow us to ally merge. Now we have everything we need. It just becomes a bit of a waiting game for one of the other nations to take over the rest of the planet. Blue Nation eliminates red on our continent, and Orange Nation is capturing the last coastal city as well. Orange is looking really strong, but unfortunately, we can't trade with Orange without making them friendly. So hopefully Blue Nation will come over and defeat Orange for us. Here comes Blue and quickly takes the coastal city from Orange. Blue and Orange are currently tied with 3 cities each. However, Orange looks much more powerful than Blue and is likely going to take back the city again. And Orange is asking if we want to declare war on Blue Nation. I hardly ever accept these deals, I'll usually just deny the request. However, this is probably the easiest way to gain relationship with Orange Nation for free. So in a rare move, I accept their proposal. This will make Blue Nation angry and give a -60 for declaring war, so we aren't likely to ally merge with them anymore. We definitely need Orange to win out from here. Orange does recapture the coastal city, and that allows us to start a trade route now that they are friendly. Now it's time to go all in and help Orange defeat Blue. Blue's second city is actually still pretty weak, and we managed to take this city as well with just our 2 military tanks, now up to 5 cities. Orange are now allies, and Blue is very angry, but we just need someone to capture this last Blue stronghold and we can merge. Looks like Orange is way ahead of us and already attacking the city with their airplanes. And we can still be helpful by using our first religious vehicle to deactivate Blue's turrets. And with a tag team effort, we took down Blue's last city, and being the generous guy that I am, I let Orange take the victory. Since now that we are both allies, Orange offers to join together so the world can live as one, and that completes civilization stage without spending any money. And finally, moving into space stage, we want to reach the galactic core at the center of the galaxy. But before starting space, we have another editor. And just like before, the spaceship editor requires 3 parts to save. But can we beat space stage without any parts to save some money? Using cheat engine to pass on through, and space stage does load, so far so good. And yes, we can have a spaceship without any parts. We can drive around with nothing. Contact our home planet and skip the tutorial, and no, we're stuck again. And Task Manager says Spore isn't responding again. I thought this was going to work for sure. But once we enter the level up cutscene, Spore breaks, and we must enter the cutscene before leaving the planet. Unfortunate again, but we'll have to make an actual legal ship this time. And once again, most items cost between 100 and 400 nut budget points, except for the detail pieces. So we can use the stacking trick again to build the spaceship with only 3 detail pieces for just 75 nut budget points. We made the cheapest possible spaceship, hopefully it holds together traveling through space. Back in space stage, and I pretty much just muscle memory skipped the intro space stage tutorial, but actually doing the tutorial is kind of interesting for this challenge. At the end of the tutorial, Spore teaches us how to buy items using the trading panel, and Spore wants us to buy the interplanetary drive for 10,000 Sporebucks. Completing the tutorial also awarded us 10,000 Sporebucks as well, so it's a net even, but needing to buy the interplanetary drive here still costs us money to obtain. But by skipping the tutorial at the very start of space stage, we actually get the interplanetary drive for free. That's just something I hardly ever think about, since I barely ever do the space stage tutorial. And in our equipment list, the interstellar drive one is available for purchase. However, we also get this for free as well. During the cutscene where we scan the crash ship, we take up missiles, and the Interstellar Drive 1 for free, along with some coordinates to investigate. And these coordinates lead us to the cities that the Groks destroyed. Returning home, and we even get a colony for free. And we can even get terraforming tools for free if we ask for it. We actually get a lot of stuff for free at the start of space stage. Now we just need to reach the galactic core, but unfortunately our interstellar drive 1 only has a jump range of 3 parsecs at a time. This isn't even enough to leave our small local cluster of stars. In fact, I checked all 5 arms of the Spore galaxy, and it's not possible to reach the center of the galaxy with only interstellar drive 1. Using a mod to start with 1000 new game locations shows almost all the possible starting locations in the galaxy. And starting from the closest points on each arm, only being able to jump at 3 parsecs at a time, we can't reach the galactic core. And interesting, only 4 out of 5 arms can even reach with interstellar drive 2. This is how the galaxy looks when launching Spore. And for context, Earth is located right around here, and we are playing over here for this run. And this arm can't reach the galactic core with only interstellar drive 2. This arm requires interstellar drive 3 to reach the galactic core from here. However, on some arms, if we start even further away, like near Earth, this gap actually requires interstellar drive 4 to bridge this gap. But ultimately, this means we can't reach the galactic core without buying interstellar drive 2. Or do we? You might not know this, but using the space create command that gives us all of the planet sculpting tools actually gives us interstellar drive 2 for free as well. Yes, this is a cheat, but I still find this pretty interesting and wanted to show it. But without using cheats, we can buy interstellar drive 2 from another empire, so it's cheaper than buying from our own empire, for only 75,000 Sporebucks. And that's everything we need to reach the center of the galaxy. But wait, I hear you ask, what about fuel? Surely we can't reach the galactic core with the 20 jumps or so we get from here. But there are actually 2 ways to reach the galactic core without refueling. First, back when we received our first colony for free, we can save during the message where we get the colony, quit without saving, and reload the game. And our colony is still trying to contact us to finish the mission briefing. When we contact them again, we return to the same message and receive another colony for free. And we can do this again for even more free colonies. Our empire might be paying for these colonies, but we aren't, and we can just charge the company card. And with all these extra colonies, we can use our 20 jumps worth of fuel, then place down one of the colonies. Now we can destroy the spaceship by jumping too many times. And we respawn for free with our health and energy completely restored at our nearest colony, which was the one we just placed. And after another 20 jumps, drop a colony and respawn again. And we can travel all the way to the center of the galaxy 20 jumps at a time, reaching the Grox territory. And there are some stars along the way to the galactic core that are just outside the Grox's range that we can colonize without getting chased down onto the planet as well. And these 2 spots are within 20 jumps of each other. And this star is so far above the Grox colonies that they can't reach us here either. And after placing 5 colonies and destroying 5 spaceships, costing our empire a whole lot of money making new ships for us, we can reach the galactic core without spending any money ourselves. Or the second method to reach the galactic core for free, much simpler, is we can perform the ghost ship glitch to travel without needing to refuel. This way we don't need to max out our empire's credit card. With our ship 1 jump away from being destroyed, we can save at the same time as we click on another star. This will save at the same time our ship is destroyed. Then we can respawn back home, quit without saving, and reload the game. And we are back to not having a spaceship, with 0 health and 0 energy, but we can still travel through the stars. And we can keep moving towards the center of the galaxy from here for free. We still encounter the Grox and they declare war, but they can't attack what doesn't exist. And we can reach the galactic core only needing to spend 75,000 Sporebucks on the interstellar drive 2. So Cell, Creature, and Civilization stage were able to be beaten completely for free. Trouble stage, if we use the planet sculpting tools, then yes, they could be beaten for free, but normally the best I could do was 25 food points. In Space stage, using the Space Create cheat would have given us the interstellar drive 2 for free, but otherwise we only need 75,000 Sporebucks. And finally, the 3 required editors making fully compliant creations for a grand total of 76,675 DNA food buck block nut budget points spent. And finally, making it to the center of the galaxy and talking to Steve without a spaceship, spending the least amount of money possible to still receive our Staff of Life completely for free. We're still getting stuff for free even after completing the run. The rich keep on getting richer. Welcome to Spore capitalism. This was a really fun challenge. I really like doing these absolute minimum type runs, and let me know what else you'd like me to try in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Kingly Valence, and I'll see you next time.